What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. It's the 20th of November. It's a Thursday, and we had a massive sell-off in the markets today. I didn't expect this big of a drop, but here we are. So yesterday we opened up, and Nvidia reported earnings yesterday. We had NFP this morning, and the numbers weren't looking too good after the government shutdown. So we just opened up, we went up and up and up, and at some point in time today, I just saw this big candle, and we just kept on selling for the majority of the day. I wasn't even able to catch this drop because I lost internet connection for a few hours at work. Not even the data wasn't working. And when I got back connection, I just saw this big candle come down. I had an entry that I was holding from around Tuesday. It's a small runner, about $15. And I was just swinging it to see how far it goes. And I was at break even. Got stopped out on that. But, you know, that's why you left it for. To run or to either get stopped out. Now, this massive candle came up to about 75% of its range. I should have expected this. Um, so we now have pretty much took out the previous month's low. The previous month's low now has been cleared, which is this candle right here. So this month, this was a low from October. This was September. So this was the low from October and the high from September. October as well, all the way up here. So we just sold right down and finally broke it. I was a bit skeptical when we came so close to it on Tuesday and we didn't run it. Was it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. So this candle was Wednesday. This is now Thursday. So I was a bit hesitant, but we came up. This was basically an inducement. So we engineered the liquidity to the downside as well as we had some to the upside as well on the lower time frame. But the draw on liquidity is lower, which was this external monthly low. We came all the way down, we ran it. We haven't tapped into any key levels down here, really. We have a fair value gap here that possibly could be respected. Fair value gap. This is the fair value gap, and we're still in a bit of premium on the weekly time frame. On the monthly time frame, this is what we're looking at. So, see the previous monthly low here, we took it out on the 3 months. So we have a month and a little left in this year, and this would be the quarterly candle. So the quarterly candle has flipped down. This could be the manipulation on it before we get back to our Santa Claus rally. This is what the yearly candle looks like. We could be forming a wick on this yearly candle. So let us see what we get going into year end. But currently, taking it day by day, this is what we look like. So this is a weekly fair value gap that we have here, and this is the level that we came into today. Now, I think this market is bearish, but you still have to look out for these key levels that we can come to reverse from. Now, on this time frame, you would say equilibrium is all the way well. On the 4 hour time frame, you would say equilibrium is somewhere inside of here. And if you're using the ICT 20-day look back, let me see if I can. So this current candle, how many bars that? So 20-day. So the high would have been pretty much here, all the way down to here. So this is equilibrium inside of here. So below equilibrium on the 20-day look back. And what I'm currently seeing is we flip bearish. So I'm now looking for candles to open here, form the high, go low, and then close. So open high, low close candles. That's a bearish candle. So that's what I'm looking for. So this one opened here, formed an high, and then we form the low, then we close here. And this is indicating a strong sell because we close below the monthly low, and we close with a little bit of a wick. So I'm expecting this now to be some type of retracement going into Friday before we could just get another sell off. Let us see if we're going to use this level here as some type of rejection, or we could trade back up into this candle that could form an order block. Don't know if we get that large range day tomorrow because it's a Friday and I don't think there's much data on the calendar per se. So now let me get into the lower time frame. So this is what the 4 hour looks like. We came into this. So it would have been this order block forming, this candle forming the order block here before we just drop all the way back down. So this is what the 4 hour looks like. I had a buy sitting down here and I held it all the way up. Was expecting this low to get run, to be honest, and eventually get back up here, but we broke structure on the weekly time on the 4 hour time frame, and this is why I'm expecting now to go lower. I don't really try to predict these markets. I'm more of use the right side of the market. I use the left side of the market to trade the right side. So I mainly just scalp or day trade, and if I get a runner from a key level, then I might leave a little small position to see how far we can go. I took a few trades today. Well, not many, not even a few trades. I think I just took one trade in late London coming into New York this morning, and that trade was on Nasdaq 100, which is the CFD. Well, I think it was all the way over here, somewhere inside of here. I think I took a buy inside this macro this morning around 5 a.m. So we had an inversion here. Nice little inversion here. Going to the upside, we closed above it. I think I got an NG here to here. And then I took another one somewhere around here. And I think it went up, came back to stop me out. This thing stopped me out somewhere around here. And then I had to leave for work. So I didn't get to capitalize on it. As well as ideally I could have caught a sell using this right here, coming all the way down to here before we traded back up. And all of this is inside this macro either. So the 6 a.m. candle started in this macro. this macro here, and we could have rode that all the way up to the 10 a.m. candle. So this would have been a nice 4-hour candle to catch. And this is the NFP move. So we spiked up around 8:30 for NFP. It could have been in this trade from even this macro here, using this level as an order block and using this manipulation. Could have set the stops below this low, could have gotten an entry inside of here, as honestly I was bullish. So this inversion gave us one entry, also this one. This is a little bit outside the macro, but this macro also gave us a buy opportunity that could have taken us up to the 10 a.m. power of 3. Now we could have rode this up to the midnight open. So all the way up to the midnight open, I would have probably went flat or went break even for the NFP move. We went all the way up, and at 9:30 we had this bit of a spike choppy movement. I was just watching here. I didn't take any trades yet, and I think we had some type of liquidity up this side. So let me go back to the 4-hour chart. So some type of internal liquidity was here, some type of session high. So we had this and this traded up into this wick right here before just dropping off. So that was the low, that was the high that we manipulated. So it's a high from, this would have been what, Monday's high that we above went above that high right here, and then now we just couldn't maintain the uptrend anymore, and we just dropped. But I know smart money doesn't normally buy in premium, so we could have expected some type of correction down here. And with everything going on with the government shutdown and earnings and this AI thing, everything just kind of just came in. But this massive drop, I wasn't actually anticipating that we could have lost over, let me see how many points it was. So overall the market traded over 1,000 points, almost 1,200 points from the high of the day to the low of the day. We traded over 1,200 points on Nasdaq. So this is a crazy, crazy, crazy move. Crazy, crazy move. Let me check on the actual NQ chart to see if it's 1,000 points. Yeah, man, it's actually telling me over 1,200 points from the high to the low of this daily candle. This is some really volatile price action. Now, the VIX is still above. The VIX is still above 20. Let me see. This is the volatility index that we kind of use to track how these moves normally play. I was supposed to analyze this chart, but didn't get around to it. But there you have the volatility index. So this thing determines the move. It moves opposite towards Nasdaq and the rest of stock market. So looking at this, The last time we were here was in October, and the last time we had any type of spike in the VIX was from April. So this is some volatility picking up inside these markets. Let us see if this will be sustained. But I'm just trying to catch these small moves to pass my funding challenges. So it doesn't even matter. You just have to use your proper risk management and trade with um, probably a bit widened stops. So if you now want to take some big size, now is not the time to be messing around. So we went all the way up to here. This gave us a little bit of a manipulation here. The 10 a.m. here, we traded down before we came back up to run these lows, and this was high was induced, and then we just melted off to the downside. So we came down, we had a breaker structure here. We could have used this chart, probably look better on NQ. Let me go to the 1 minute chart and show you guys where we could have gotten an entry inside the 10. It should have been the lunchtime macro. So using this fair value gap, let me actually remove this, and we can also remove this red line. Also, can just leave that one. But this fair value gap inside the macro, this could have been an entry right here using these. But you want to use this candle, single candle here, or you want to use this one. This could have been a nice entry. This fair value gap was respected inside this macro right here, and this would have been a nice entry to catch the downside, or even inside this fair value gap right there. Beautiful entry on this candle, any one of these candles here, or we could have entered on this candle here to capture the downside move. So the target would have been these lows down here if we were getting this big drop off. So I'm going to show you on the higher time frame if we traded into any higher time frame order blocks. I think we did on the 4 hour, but let us see. But this would have been a nice entry here. Also another one here. This is outside of the macro, but just using the candles, I see where I could have gotten into trades. So that was an entry there, entering anywhere inside there. And then inside this macro also, this would have been 1150 to 1210. That macro also gave us an entry using this order block. Could have entered on any one of these candles here with the stops above there, and using ICT principle of the timing, the macros, to know that it would be respected. We don't in our downtrend, so expect that the lows is the target. So we had NYSE open from the previous day down here, and we had some internal lows, plus we had the low from, this would have been the low from Wednesday low got taken out, and then after Wednesday this would have been an internal low also, but this is the main low. Wednesday overnight session here, as well as Tuesday's low. and this was where I had the buy from. So this would have been Tuesday's low. So we took out that low, and we also, let me see, that would have been the low, yeah. And then we also had the lows from last month. So let me mark those lows. It would have been this red line, this red line here. So all of these lows got taken out, and the new week opening gap from here also got taken out. So we had this. This was also a gap because it opened here, and on Monday and the Sunday night open, we open right around there. So that was where we opened. So we took out all those lows. Now during lunchtime we had a nice little rally up inside the macro. Came up. We could have used this level also as a sell area. Could have sold here. This is a bit late in the day still, but this market was showing some heavy bearish pressure with the way how the candles are forming, and I'm going to show you on the higher time frame. So we sold from there, and then we just consolidated, then we sold again inside the PM silver bullet. So this kind of a consolidation here before we came all the way down again, and that's where we pretty much ended the day right around here. So some crazy moves happen, as I said, over 1200 points. So let me show you. This is the daily time frame on my chart. The daily time frame. So this is the lows that we came all the way down to take out, and we have equilibrium all the way and down on this here because we don't have any valid lows here. On the 4 hour time frame, let me show you. This is the level that we actually sold from. So this is a 4 hour supply level that we traded into and wasn't able to break above. Couldn't get above this week. So the weekly profile, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we couldn't get above Monday's high. So we traded into Monday's week before we just melted to the downside. So that is on the higher time frame. Let me see if I can refine it some more on the 4 hours down to the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, we have it's not even equilibrium, but premium here. So this was the premium, and we had this refined 1 hour order block that we traded into before getting that massive drop off. So the manipulation was above the midnight open, and this is premium on this time frame here before we traded all the way down to discount. So the targets were these lows, and then we have the monthly low down here. On the 15 minute is what we look like. Yeah, so we even had a little bit of a fair value gap sitting there. This is the fair value gap. I don't even think we traded up into it much. No, we didn't quite make it into the fair value gap before it dropped. So this is a nice manipulation up, then we just drop off. Even on the 15 minute, you can see that these candles does not have much of a wick. So you can see I had this gap here. This is a new day opening gap. I mean quite a few of them on this chart now. But ran this internal low. I will just drop. No wick on these first couple candles that is showing heavy selling pressure, and even on the 4 hour time frame as well as the 1 hour time frame, you can notice there is no wick. There's no wick on these candles, showing heavy selling pressure. When you look here, just that after we ran these lows, we had a bit of a bounce back here. But outside of that, these markets don't play around when the volatility picks up. So that is pretty much it for today's episode. I will catch you guys tomorrow for the next one. Peace.